Volvo has a problem. The XC60 was so successful and so universally liked that replacing it almost feels a little bit reckless, because for years it's been the default answer for people who wanted something premium without screaming about it. So the XC60 didn't just do well, it became the best-selling Volvo in the brand's history. It even outsold the old Volvo 240, a very famous, iconic car that existed for around 20 years after launching in the early 1970s. Yep, the boxy pipe and slippers icon that basically built Volvo's reputation in the first place. And so, without further ado, meet the all-new Volvo EX60, which has enormous shoes to fill. So, arriving in Australia in late 2026 is the new EX60, the brand's next-generation family SUV, and pricing will start from about $80,000. Sorry, my mistake, $90,000, $89,990, something like that. So, new platform, new technology, new everything. And unlike the Zeekr 7X, which rides on the SEA platform, this one uses the new SPA3. And this new platform lets it do new stuff. And as I've discovered, kind of makes it drive a whole lot better too. Plus, it's also future-proofed. This is going to be the underpinnings for all their future models. Well, the important ones anyway. You look at the front end here and you've got a pretty conservative design overall. There's no grille there, it's sealed off because this new vehicle is based on a clean sheet EV architecture. It doesn't need those sort of legacy car elements. This model also has the Force hammer headlights, but unlike the EX90, these ones don't wink. They don't split open with the little robotics and stuff. But you know what? I don't mind that. That's one less thing to go wrong. This is also the latest iteration of the Volvo badge. As you can see, cameras as well. Oh yeah. And this thing has a very low drag coefficient rating. I think it's 0.26. And one of the reasons is because of these, the door handles. These are little aerodynamic protuberances, and the door handle is just on the inside there, the button. They're going to open, there we go. And yeah, it gets rid of the flush fit door handles that we often see on these EVs, and it's an interesting way of reducing drag or improving aerodynamics, if you like. This one is riding on 22-inch alloy wheels. Now, this may not look it, but it's actually 4.8 meters long. That's about 10 centimeters longer than the Zeekr 7X. Now, interestingly, this car will not get a 7-seat version. Idea is keep the boot nice and big. There's also the cross-country version, which is a little bit more jacked up. Whether or not it's a genuine off-roader remains to be seen, but I'm pretty keen to take it off-road and give it a proper test, because I think it can use its air suspension to go up to something like 230, 234 millimeters of ride height. So that should be pretty reasonable for getting over rocks. But again, if you've got 22-inch rims on it, that's not something you want to be doing. All right, let's have a look at the frunk. And here's an interesting little tidbit. So the way you figure out where the catch is, right there. So, oh, I'll get it. And that is the frunk. Not massive, not tiny. Pretty reasonable size. And we'll take a look at the boot as well. Now, the cargo area is 523 litres, not too shabby for a car of this size. And here is the button here somewhere. Hit that. Open, says me. And then, yeah, this is actually a pretty good usable space. There's my backpack there. And you've got a little bit of amenity. You've got some pockets down here. You've got the first aid kit. Plus you can lower the rear seats automatically, drop the rear suspension. This here is not too bad, feels fairly high quality. And what's cool is because it's based on this new SPA architecture, you've got these, you've got this large section down here, which is, yeah, there's a bucket here. This is great. And you can get a full-size bucket. That'd be great for putting your wetsuits in if you're going surfing. A little Volvo bag here. You can have them in, you can take them out, your choice. The great thing as well about this is the cargo cover stores down here, nice and easily, so you're not having to dump it everywhere. And even better, the roof rails that pop in here can also fit in this section down here, which is, it's a really clever idea. And another little Easter egg, which I really like, I'm not sure if we can see that properly. This little plaque here shows what you can fit into it. It's got measurements, really cool little feature. So yeah, the cargo areas front and rear in this car, I like them. Before we look at the charging capabilities of this vehicle, the powertrains on offer include the entry-level P6, that is this one here, that is the one that we're getting in Australia for about 90 grand. Step up to the P10 version, and that cranks out a lot more power. We'll chuck all the power and torque figures on screen. Then there's also the third model, the P12, which is coming to Australia in the first quarter of 2027. These standard ones are coming in late 2026. Okay, back in the shade, I'm getting burnt, but let's talk battery packs now. So the first battery pack in this basic P6 model is an 83 kilowatt hour system. And with that, you'll get about 600 kilometers, 620 kilometers WLTP, that's the claim. The P10, the all-wheel drive model, is a 95 kilowatt hour battery pack, and that'll do 660 kilometers. Both of which are very good range numbers. And then of course there's the crazy P12, which has a 117 kilowatt hour battery with 810 kilowatt WLTP. So that is going to be impressive, but could be super expensive. That's the only thing. Okay, peak charging. These things are based on new 800 volt supremacy electrical architecture. That's part of the SPA3 platform. This allows for 10 to 80% charging in as little as 18 minutes. That's not too shabby. Okay, the interior. Let's do face lock, face track. That's pretty cool. This is impressive. The first time you get in it, there's just this sense of, yeah, I mean, it's probably overused, you know, Scandi. Not sure if it's even PC, but that's the feeling you get. This one has a lot of recycled wool in the seats and the upholstery, even on the dashboard. And yeah, the overall sense is it's different to most of its rivals out there, but it's still got this sort of, yeah, this subtle elegance to it. It's making a positive first impression, I won't lie. So this is the top spec Ultra, and you can see you've got this sort of perforated leather stuff on the doors. And here's another interesting thing. There's no technical door handles. You just sort of yank this top section here. It's, yeah, I don't hate it. It's actually kind of cool. It's different. A lot of the designs here are different. But anyway, we'll talk about the speaker system in the headrest in a minute. But yeah, this recycled wool is actually quite nice. I quite like it. It's not going to be good for spills when the kids get all their milky drinks and stuff, but it's comfortable, it's soft, the cushions are good, and ergonomics of these seats are excellent. The comfort levels are very, very good, fully adjustable, and also I mentioned the soft sort of wool stuff on the dash here. Plus you've got sort of open pore wood as well. And this, however, is one of the biggest differences in the new EX60. The screen is no longer vertically aligned. It's no longer, what do you call it, portrait. So now it's landscape, it's horizontal, and it works really well. I'll get to that in a minute. But another thing you might see is that there's more legroom here because they've gotten rid of the glove box. The glove box is now here, and this is really cool. It's a huge area, and it's accessible via the driver as well as the passenger, so it's more useful. Got a little sort of rubberized thing here, plus there's a couple of USB ports. You've got 18 watt, 60 watt. You've got a little shelf here, including wireless phone charging. Plus, yeah, storage in general is very good. There's an area here. This section here pops out. So at the moment we're using the phone as a key card. You can get a normal key fob as well. So 2 cup holders there. And yeah, they're just doing things very, very differently. It's really interesting. However, one of the things that having this large area down here completely open and free means is that you don't have any controls down here. There's nothing here to push button. So everything is done via the screen, which I don't love. Yes, you've got the crystal rotator here for volume, and you can skip tracks forward and backwards. That's cool. And look, truth be told, this new setup is quite good, but you've still got to hit the mirrors here. Then you adjust the mirrors with the steering wheel. There's 2 little joysticks, one here, one here. And the steering wheel itself is teeny, teeny, tiny, and I love it. I'll talk a bit more about that when I take this out for a drive. But yeah, tiny steering wheel, super direct steering, love it. The controls themselves are really straightforward. You've got your adaptive cruise control there. But yes, you do have to adjust everything on the screen here, and that can be a little annoying at times. This button here is a shortcut button, so you can program things to that, but yeah, pretty much everything has to be done here. There is a pretty cool voice control system that a lot of our commenters talk about. Oh, just use voice control. And yeah, that is true. Use voice control. It is effective. It does work. And this one also has a really cool, it's called Let's Talk. It's Google's AI system, Gemini's latest sort of agent, and it's kind of cool. We'll touch on that in the drive section. But yeah, so you've got this smaller central screen. I think it's about 14.5 inches. And then there's also this small screen here, but no head-up display. So Volvo says that this is mounted so high that you don't need a head-up display. I beg to differ. I think a head-up display would be much nicer. It would display things here. I think it's more elegant, but this system does work quite well. It gives you lots of options. Yeah, that's my initial thoughts on it. I think it could have been done a little better, but yeah, overall, the sense in this cabin is really positive. I do like the sort of relaxed, calm feel here. It is a good setup, and they've done their homework for sure. The 15-inch central touchscreen is a really good system. It's curved as well, slightly bowed in the middle, so that both sides, both passengers can see it clearly. And it has some pretty significant CPU power, some pretty significant hardware, as well as the usual Qualcomm Snapdragon processors that a lot of Chinese vehicles have. Oh, and for the record, this thing is made not in China like a lot of Volvos, but actually in Sweden. So there you have it. Anyway, the screen also has NVIDIA GPUs as well. And yeah, the response and the way it moves around the screens is very, very good, very, very fast. Tick for high tech. Another thing that's a bit annoying is the air vents. There's no way to adjust the air vents manually. It does look sleek. You've got this line all the way along the dash here, but yeah, you've got to do them on the screen. I guess a lot of owners will probably set and forget, but yeah, it's a bit annoying. So standard EX60s have a 21 speaker Bose stereo, which is pretty good. Or like this one, you've got the optional Bose and Wilkins. I think it's 28 speakers. Let me double check on that. Yes, 28 speakers. And not only do you have them in the headrests of the front seats, they even have the speakers in the back seat headrests. Yeah, next level. And it's got the Dolby Atmos, whatever, protocol functionality, whatever that is. And yes, we've cranked up a few songs, listening to a bit of Uptown Funk earlier, and phenomenal. Like, the sound quality was absolutely excellent. One of the best I've heard in a long time. Maybe up there with, what's that one in the Lexus? They're pretty good. Yeah. Mark Levinson, that's it, Mark Levinson. Some other intel about this car. It has a world first, and that is a super special seatbelt system. Oh my God, they really stretch out a long way. I could almost plug that in over here. So this new system is a world first, and it has its own little, there's a bit of wool on there, a little bit of recycled wool blend. They've got their own little motorized system in the seatbelt, and it's got 200 separate moving parts, and I have to check this. It uses cameras inside the car and outside the car, and it's got 11 different modes on the seatbelt to basically give you the best chance of survivability in a crash. So it'll go, okay, you're going this fast and you're sitting in this position. What do I need to do with the seatbelt? And it's got this, funky little motorized servo thing inside it. And it's supposed to be safe. And, Volvo loves their safety tech. Oh, and one more thing. The giant glass roof has the, what do they call it? Monochromatic, digichromatic, whatever it is, stuff where they run a current through the glass, and it makes it opaque. And I was looking at the sun through it before. I can sort of see it now through the trees. And it doesn't blind you. I still think it's going to get pretty hot. I would prefer a solid sun blind, but that's me. Alrighty, the back seat, and this is pretty comfortable. Like the front seat. In fact, the back seats are super contoured. Like, that is nice. I like what they've done here. And Again, it's a light interior. There's a bunch of different sort of decors you can get in here. You don't have to get like the light cream, wool, whatever. There's leather, there's dark, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of room back here. I've got really good headroom. Despite this glass roof, I guess you get more headroom because there is no, solid sunblind in there. But yeah, it's nice. There's a little bit of amenity. Check this out. We've got heated seats. Even the little lights are really cool. Beep, beep, beep. You can adjust the temperature, so 3-way temperature control. There's also the 60 watt and 18 watt, USB ports there, little pocket there. You've got space for your mobile phone. Like the front, there's door pockets back here, and you can adjust the back seat angle as well electronically with these buttons. So nice extra little bit of luxury there. Don't mind that at all. And check this out. Fold out armrest with cup holders as well. Kind of hard to see, but they're in there, believe you me. Overall, interior space is surprisingly good. And it's weird because this car looks not very big on the outside. Yet again, it's almost as big as a Hyundai Santa Fe, which is technically a large SUV. This is technically a medium SUV. I'd call it a large. There's a lot of room for front and rear seat passengers. It's well executed. Okie dokie, all the static stuff out of the way. Time to hop out of the back seat, hop in the front seat, and see how this thing drives. And spoiler alert, I've already driven it, and this thing is far more entertaining than it has any right to be. Okay, first things first, we've hopped in the, okay, first things first, and that speed limit thing is annoying. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, first things first, and the steering wheel. It's impossible not to notice what this does to the car. It is tiny, it feels so small, but I actually really like it. And we've got incessant speed limits beeping at us. Not quite as annoying as some other brands, but that's not too bad. But yes, this steering wheel, it is absolutely tiny. And the second thing I've noticed is how direct the steering is. Like, you really don't have to turn this steering wheel much to affect the change in direction for the car. And that is really interesting. So this really direct steering works both in urban environments and also out on the open road. So when you're poodling around little towns and whatnot, it's really good because you don't actually have to put much effort into the steering to get it to turn quite sharply. It makes the whole driving process quite effortless, and I like that. I think that's really good. I don't think everyone's going to love it, and the shape of this sort of squircle steering wheel as well might put some people off, but from where I sit, I think this is a really good setup. Okay, I forgot to mention, I am in the P6 model. So that means it's the entry-level powertrain at the moment, which is a rear drive, single motor, pumping out 275 kilowatts. And it's pretty quick, I won't lie. When you slow down and then give the throttle a bit of a blast, it really does hustle. Like, yeah, it's got a bit of pace to it. The EX60 is also super quiet. Like, yes, this is cheating a little bit on these Spanish roads. The surfacing is immaculate. It's billiard table smooth for the most part, but I have managed to find some speed bumps and some potholes, and even over those, it's relatively quiet. At 120 k's an hour on the freeway, there's not a lot of wind noise, there's not a lot of tyre noise. What they've done here to create a sense of luxury in the way this car drives is quite impressive. And I think a lot of that has to do with the new SPA3 platform. It just feels very solid, very tied to the road, and yeah, it just has an upmarket sort of elegance, a sort of premium feel to it. So I initially thought this vehicle had 19-inch alloys on it. It's actually wearing 22-inch alloys, and I'm coming back to what it felt like over speed bumps and potholes. And for this vehicle to be so compliant over those sort of bumps and lumps is very impressive. And this is the entry-level model at the moment, so it's only got passive suspension. It doesn't have the adaptive suspension of the P10, which hopefully I'll get to drive later, may or may not. These things are always a bit fraught. But But yeah, it does have frequently selective dampers. It really is just a very, very approachable vehicle. It doesn't feel like a 4.8 meter long SUV. Like, this is virtually the same length as a Hyundai Santa Fe, but it feels like it shrinks around you. Part of that is due to this tiny steering wheel and the super direct steering. That really does make it feel quite spry, quite light on its feet, if you like. The brakes too, pretty good, very responsive. I've tried sussing out how heavy this car is, but the spec sheet they've given us doesn't actually give us a curb weight, but I'm gonna guess this is between about 2.1 and 2.3 tons. And yes, the brakes do a very good job. Now, last but not least is the dynamics, or are the dynamics. Most owners aren't really going to care about the dynamics of this car, but if you do find yourself on a fun, twisting road, you're actually going to have a really good time. I'm really quite shocked at how nicely this thing behaves. The dynamics are excellent. Whether you're in the suburbs at slow speed or out on an open road, blasting around corners, it feels like it shrinks around you. It doesn't feel like a big car, and I think that's one of the things that Volvo has really nailed with this. A couple of negative points. I would like a head-up display. As good as this little screen is, it's not quite in your direct line of sight. You do have to do a bit of dropping your eyes from the road a little bit. But yeah, that is what it is. And it's not the end of the world. And look, in this vehicle's defense, that screen is mounted higher than most. So it's a bit of a halfway house, if you like. So cruising along the freeway, I'm in hands-free mode. It's got level 2 plus autonomy. I can see it sort of telling me, oh, you can change lane now, just flick the indicator, it'll do it for me. But it seems very, very proactive. It's reading the road really nicely, the lanes, what other cars are doing. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty comfortable here, just cruising on the freeway, hands-free. Not bad. So here's the reality check. You could go out and buy a Zeekr 7X for a lot less money than this one. This starts at about $90,000. The Zeekr 7X starts at just under $60,000. And in the Zeekr, you'll get most of the performance, about 80% of the charging capability, and a similar amount of tech as well. But that's not really what Volvo is selling here. And after driving it, I can say this is a very different car in the way it feels and how it operates than the Zeekr. It is a step up for sure. And yes, part of what you're paying for here is the badge and the Thor hammer headlights and the Scandinavian design. But weirdly, I think it's worth it. And I'm hearing on the grapevine that this $90,000 P6 version will not be the entry-level model forever. There will be an even more affordable one that I think will creep underneath the new $75,000 mark. That is the ceiling for the new FBT rules coming in 2027. So that will help them drive a lot of sales by accessing that EV incentive. So is the new EX60 a world's beater? Probably not on paper, but then neither was the XC60, but Volvo people still absolutely loved it. And look, this is a first impression, and we're going to be able to get our hands on these vehicles in Australia and get a proper test, see how they drive on local soil. But as it stands, yeah, first impression, this has exceeded expectation. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And what are your thoughts? Do you reckon the EX60 is going to outpace the XC60 and become Volvo's best seller? Would you buy one of these over a Zeekr 7X? Let me know in the comments below. We love getting involved.